What is going on, Mountaineer Nation and college basketball fans? This is Coos, and I'm here with Mountaineer Paul. And this is the Hoops from the Hills channel. We thank you for coming on. Brand new channel here where Paul and I focus on West Virginia basketball, Big 12 basketball. So we're your one-stop shop for West Virginia and Big 12 hoops. Joining us for this show tonight is Mr. Ethan Bock with West Virginia SportsNow. Ethan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Justin. How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on.
Yep. If you don't mind, let our listeners know where they can locate you and find you.
Yeah, so majority of my work is on Twitter at Ethan Bock _, and then you can also find me at WestVirginiaSportsNow.com.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And Paul, let everybody know where else you are other than here.
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel that's growing fast, Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, and also on Twitter at Paul Mountaineer, just reverse.
Yeah, and I've got all of our Twitter handles scrolling across the bottom there for you guys, so you can come check us out. And please, like I said, this is a new channel, so we ask that you please subscribe to us. Paul and I both have our separate channels that we do as well, where we do focus on football. So, but we try to get you guys at least 1 or 2 videos a week here on this channel as well to cover Mountaineer basketball, and we'll probably do more as you know, as we get all this football stuff behind us and all this chaos that's going on with the coaching stuff, the AD stuff. Obviously, we got recruiting coming up and all that. Once we get through all that, we'll probably be spending a lot more time, hopefully, here on this channel covering basketball, especially as we get into Big 12 play here in a few weeks. But the first thing we want to talk about is Ethan was actually attended the Phil Knight Legacy. I think he was. Ethan, weren't you the only West Virginia media member at that event?
Yep, the only one.
I found that to be pretty cool, man. It's cool that you got to experience that.
Yeah, it was interesting. I've never been that far out west before, so that was interesting traveling and then getting adjusted to the West Coast time. But overall, it was fun.
Yeah, and it was cool to hear during Huggins' post-game pressers. I'm like, man, it's the same guy asking all the questions. That's Ethan.
Yeah, it was really odd not having anybody else ask him questions. Like no national media asked him questions. Obviously, no West Virginia media there. So it was odd just being pretty much one-on-one the whole time.
Right. Well, it's cool. I really liked some of the questions you asked, and thought you did a fine job covering that event, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Real quick, I want to get your thoughts though on the event, what you thought about the Mountaineers, and how they looked.
Yeah, I thought overall, like, for them to finish 5th in the Legacy tournament, that was the best they could have done, honestly. I mean, they gave Purdue a game. They cut it down to 4, 2 minutes left, and Purdue is easily the best team in the country last week. Not even just in Portland. They were the best team in the country last week.
Right.
West Virginia cut it. They fought the entire game. Purdue could never get it past 12 points, but West Virginia could rarely get it within 6 points. So with them to get it in within 4, just 2-3 minutes left, Purdue still won by a dozen, but it just shows the fight that this team has compared to last year. And then Purdue just ended up dominating Gonzaga and Duke the next few days. So it makes West Virginia's only loss not look that bad, and it's not the end of the world. And then they proved it by handling Portland State well on Friday and then just dominating Florida from start to finish on Sunday. So awesome. say overall, West Virginia fans should be positive about this past week.
I definitely am. Paul, what do you got anything you want to ask Ethan or any takeaways from the tournament?
Man, that was as bad a whipping I think I've ever seen a Bob Huggins squad give another Power 5 squad with as much credibility as Florida has.
Right.
I looked at some stuff before the year. Florida was picked 7th in the SEC before the year began. In the SEC, has a chance to be the best conference in America this year. It's that talented of a conference with Tennessee and Auburn and Kentucky and all those teams at the top. They're really top heavy. I would say easily second to the Big 12 this year. Maybe the Big 10. There's so much good basketball. But yeah, so for them to beat what's probably going to be a good Florida team throughout the year, probably another 15 to 20 win team in Florida, was really impressive.
Yeah, and not just beating them, but the way they beat them, I mean, it was an absolute domination. I mean, Florida didn't even look like they belong in the second half, especially didn't even look like they belonged on the same court as West Virginia. I mean, it was like I can't remember the last time I saw a West Virginia team dominate somebody like that. That wasn't a mid-major or small program. I mean, they beat an SEC team,
especially
like
a team they struggled with in the past too.
Exactly. Yeah, which was, by the way, that brings up something. Florida has owned West Virginia the last 3 or 4 times they played. I mean, they absolutely even the year, I don't remember what year it was. I'm bad at remembering dates, but one year West Virginia was actually really good. It was one of their NCAA tournament teams, and Florida absolutely just dominated us. I mean, it was like they look like a different team. For whatever reason, West Virginia never plays well in that SEC challenge. The deal. This was one of those, and Florida just dominated us, and it was like, man alive. So it was really nice to see him kind of get that monkey off his back, so to speak, against Florida. But Ethan, I'll ask you first, and I'll ask Paul. What player was you most impressed with, or have you been most impressed with so far for the Mountaineers?
I could give you a list, honestly. That's why
me too.
That's why they're doing so well this year, because there's so many guys that I just didn't. Not that I didn't expect them to do well, but not expect them to do so well to start off the year, like just this well. I'm probably gonna if I have to pick one, I'm gonna have to go Eric Stevenson, just because I feel like he's definitely the leader of this team, and that's the reason why a lot of the other guys, Joe Toussaint, Trey Mitchell, even like a Seth Wilson, I think there's a lot. He's a big reason why a lot of these guys have energy every game, and for the most part of the game too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Stevenson, man. We haven't had a guy with that much swag.
Yeah.
When's the last time? I can't remember the last time, to be honest with you.
Who's that guy that played for Ole Miss a few years ago that had a bunch of swag like that? He was another white guy.
Marshall Henderson.
That's who he reminds me of.
Yeah.
A lot like Marshall Henderson. So I'll tell you somebody I'm a big fan of based off their tape. They haven't got a lot of playing time yet, but I believe Pat Suminick is going to be a really good player. He just hasn't had a chance to show everybody yet. He was injured, and he's kind of come into this thing late. Can you educate the fans on just how good Suminick can be? Because I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, I like the way Pat's started out this year, even though he's only played 19 or 20 games throughout the first 7 games. But it just shows, like, with Pat even being decent off the bench, it just shows how deep Huggins has this. It's literally 14 guys, like even Josiah Davis as a true freshman off the bench with Suminick.
He's really played well.
Yeah, those two have so much energy when they come off the bench, and they've been sitting there majority of the game, and then they come off the bench like an Energizer bunny. Like everybody on this team has energy, and Suminick's one of those players as well. But I think he's going to have multiple years of eligibility after this year anyway. So it's good. It's just good for him to just get into the game, just get accommodated with the program. And I think Pat's going to be like another glue guy that West Virginia can rely on in the future.
And he has some outside game to him as well. He hit a 3 the other day. And when I studied some of his tape, that showed up. He was all around the 3-point line making shots, which you wouldn't think because he plays the 4 and the 5 position. But yeah, I just want to get it on tape right now that I'm a big fan of Pat Suminick. So when he shows out here soon, you heard it here first.
He said he wanted to be the next Gabe.
Oh yeah?
Yep. That was his
He did.
That's awesome. He doesn't care about being the guy that scores all the points. He wants to be the glue guy.
Yep.
That's neat, man.
He hustles up and down the court.
And that shows you, and that goes to show you, not to get off topic, but that shows you how much Gabe meant to that team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Couldn't he have played another year, Gabe?
No, he was
done
last year.
Yeah, I think he played 5 or 6 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He had 5 years under his belt.
Cole D says, like the way James has been playing. I assume he's talking about James Okonkwo. What are your thoughts on him, Ethan?
He's one of the players I've been really surprised with. Like coming into the year, the biggest question I had was front court depth. You have Jimmy Bell, Mo McGee, But then you had James. I didn't expect James to be able to come off the bench and actually have quality minutes just into his second year, because he really didn't play at all last year.
Mhm.
So this is really like his freshman year where he's
Yeah.
playing every game, quality minutes. And yeah, he's another player I'm really impressed with. Like, he's putting in the work. He's able to get up there and block shots. Almost, I'm not going to compare him to Sags at all. I'm
No,
not.
right.
But he has that blueprint of just, he can go up to the rim with anybody and he could block a shot. And he's even shown recently he's starting to stretch the floor out. He's trying to shoot threes, and so I James's potential.
Well, and now
he does have a lot.
I saw him shoot some threes. I wonder if Hugs wants him shooting threes. As soon as I saw him chunk up a three, I'm like, yeah, he's going to the bench.
Yeah. The thing about him for me is, especially when he gets the ball in the high post, he seems to get nervous. You guys see that? He gets the ball, he kind of don't know what to do with it. I think that'll come once he gets more comfortable within the motion offense. I think he's going to be a good player. I don't think he can. He's trying to just figure out what's going on around him right now, much less think about what's going on, what the best play to make is. He just wants to get rid of the ball sometimes as soon as he gets it.
Yeah. Comment from Bo Stacker. He says, this team is going to get better throughout the year. By the time the tourney rolls around, we should be rolling. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I predicted in our preseason show. I said, I actually predicted them to start off a little slow and then get a little bit better over time and end up winning 19, 20 games. I think they've got the potential to do even a lot better than that. Obviously, the Big 12 is going to be brutal. It always is. So I hate to get too overconfident because they're going to drop some games in Big 12 play. It's just too good of a league. But I really am excited about this team. I think they have the potential. I'm not guessing this, but I think they got a potential to win 25-plus games. I really do.
This is the biggest thing I've been shocked about, is how quickly they gel. It's almost like it's almost like they brought everybody back.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way they're playing and the chemistry.
It is, isn't it?
It's really impressive because they brought in 4 guys from the transfer portal, 3 JUCO kids, 2 true freshmen. So you're bringing guys from all different levels, and they're gelling like they've played at least a year together. That's the most important thing about the team.
3 seniors, 2 fifth-year seniors, right? So that's 5 seniors on this squad. And when you think of it like that, you don't get that very often these days, And so and like Huggins has said all the time, like these guys may not have played here, but they've all played high-level basketball somewhere else. If you've ever played any basketball at all, if you've ever gone to the pickup gym, it's if you're willing to, especially if you're playing unselfish like they are, chemistry is not that hard to achieve. It's when you have a bunch of players that it's all about them. That's when it makes chemistry really hard to achieve. But this team is so unselfish and they want to pass it and get the next guy involved. I really think that's helped the chemistry out.
Yeah, I feel like it's cliche to say all the time, like, oh, these guys love hanging out with each other. They all have great chemistry. But I mean, Huggins he's not BSing this year at all. Like,
no.
These guys really do want to win. That's all they want to do, is just win as a team. Not knocking any of them at all, but none of them are first-round draft picks. None of them – I could see Trey Mitchell being a second-round draft pick, but other than that, like, these guys are just here to win as a team this year and see what they can do as a group.
Yeah, they want to close out – most of them, the ones that are older, want to close out their college careers on a winning – because they've been journeymen, some of them. Like, I mean, Eric Stevenson, my gosh, this is his 4th school. And he wants to win. They want to win so bad. Speaking of that, I got to ask you, Ethan, since you were there, do you have any idea what he said to that cheerleader after that dunk?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No.
I wish somebody did, because the look on her face, man, that is.
She was wooed. It definitely.
Well, whatever he said, it was quick because he dunked it, did something, and then she reacted quick. So he must have said something short.
Yeah.
At least it didn't end up like the Mississippi State player that tried to holler at the LSU cheerleader. Did you guys see that?
I did not.
No.
I'm not aware of that. Cole D says that Purdue loss isn't a bad loss either, something to build on later in Big 12 play and a good effort to the end. Yeah, and I mean, Purdue, when I was watching that game, I'm thinking, Purdue looks like a Big 12 team to me. They play like a Big 12 team.
Yep.
I mean, they play great defense. They move the ball well. They got size. I mean, they've got good guard play. They're just a really good ball team. They might be the best team in the country. I know they were last week, but they may end up being for the whole year. They're good.
Ethan, you were there. How sick were those guys?
You could tell Thursday that once I found out there was Trey, Emmett, and Kedrian, looking back on it, you could tell that they were a little out of it. Trey didn't play second half. You could say foul trouble, but he didn't even get in at the end of the game. Because I asked Huggins that Thursday night. It's like, why didn't Trey play? Like, I know he's in foul trouble with 4 fouls whole second half, but you couldn't have at least thrown him in there towards the end of the game when he needed a basket. And if he fouls out, it's like, oh well. Like, you have nothing to lose on getting Trey Mitchell fouled out, but it makes sense when he's throwing up before the game. You could see that Emmett didn't have the same energy. He still played 35 minutes or so that game, and but he looked a little fatigued. And yeah, like you could tell those guys were a little fatigued Thursday, but I think they were fine Friday and Sunday.
I'm gonna come
Makes
back
the
to
performance all that more impressive.
It does, and I think the fans, a lot of the fans that were on Twitter complaining, I'm like, dude, come on, guys, they were sick, and I knew. Well, even before Purdue, I didn't know Purdue was going to be that good, but I knew they were a good team. I'm thinking this is a team that could make a run in March right here. This is a really good team. But speaking
You
of
just
them,
assume that.
yeah. Cole says, Ethan, did you get close to Edie in person? If so, was it crazy scary? LOL.
Yeah. Because I was walking past the scores table and they were warming up, and he's out by the logo, out in the key. And like just looking at him, like I've never seen a human that big before. I don't know how.
Wow.
I don't know how the hell Jimmy Bell and Trey Mitchell and Mo McGee guarded him all game. I don't know how anybody guards him without fouling.
Yeah, that's obviously I think that's going to be one of the challenges for anybody this year when you saw our guys in major foul trouble.
And he knocks down free throws. There's no win with him. Like if you foul Zach Edey, he's a good free throw shooter. Yeah. Center, he's going to knock down 80% of his shots.
I know J Flo wasn't really impressed by him. Apparently, based on his Twitter comments.
What did John say?
He said something about he's not that good. He's just big.
No, he's good.
That was his comment.
I agree with him on that. He's good.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll agree with him on saying like maybe it doesn't translate to the NBA because he's not really. He's more of a traditional big.
Yeah.
Yeah. The game's too fast for him now, for sure.
But you see him out on the perimeter, handing off the ball and setting off ball screen. Like he's involved with the offense. It's not like he's just in the paint, just standing there.
Yeah, he's not one of those big guys that can't move and he's just there to take up space. He actually is the main contributor, which
he might
you don't always see.
He might be the best player in the country this year.
He
could be.
Look how well he did against Drew Timme. I mean,
yeah, yep.
He was.
I'd like it to be anybody but Oscar Tshiebwe, considering he, just kills me.
Yeah, I don't even know how
he won it
this
last
year.
year.
I haven't even followed him this year so far.
Playing the same as always.
I know Jordan. I wanted to get to Jordan's question because we wanted to talk about this anyway. Paul and I had discussed.
Yeah.
We wanted to get your thoughts on Jose Perez.
Yeah.
Jordan says he's heard a lot about his scoring, but curious as to what his game is like defensively. Do you have any insight?
I think it's a lot like, honestly, it's a lot like what the guys on the team are this year. Scrappy. They're going to be up. He's going to be up in his opponent's face, up in the perimeter.
Awesome.
I don't think he wasn't brought in to defend. I don't think he'll be any crazy defender, but he's got that same edge, just like the rest of the perimeter players on the team now. So he'll fit in.
Has he been cleared yet to practice?
No, not officially.
Okay, so all he can do is travel with the team, basically.
Yeah, they're still waiting on a waiver from the NCAA.
Okay, and I don't know why does it take so stinking long?
So you haven't seen him shoot around, play at all?
I've seen him shoot. So before games, he will shoot around, not with the team, but once the team's clearing the floor to go to the locker room, he'll take a couple shots. He's got a nice jump shot. Obviously, some of his stats show that he shoots the ball a lot, but he was also on a team where he needed to shoot the ball a lot, so his numbers aren't as good from three, like just percentage-wise, but he can shoot it. I wouldn't.
Well, you know, sorry.
You were talking earlier about the chemistry, and I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember which one. I listened to dozens, but they were talking about how it reminded them of the Final Four team in 2010 as the way they like to goof off together, and you know, I think they were giving an example of the 2010 Final Four team making videos of themselves acting silly in the hotel the night before a game, like in the tournament, maybe even before the Final Four game. I don't remember. But they said this team reminds them of that as far as the way they enjoy being around each other and the way they get along and all that. Is that how you would describe it too?
Yeah, easily. No hesitation on that. Just seeing these guys, like when they're on the floor pregame or postgame, they're just really friendly towards each other. Now, obviously, Emmett and Eric have known each other since they were 7 or 8, since they were in elementary school.
Right.
They knew Joe Toussaint off of AAU ball. So, and then these guys spent the entire summer together, and most of them were just getting accustomed into Morgantown. So they had to get along because those are the only people they really knew when they came here. So,
right. Bo says, is Florida that bad, or do we have the potential to be that good?
I think it's a mixture of both. I don't think Florida's necessarily bad, but they're just getting accustomed. They're just getting used to first-year head coach Todd Golden from San Francisco. They're a lot similar. They're a lot similar, like West Virginia, bringing in transfer guys. Obviously, they brought back Castleton, but they have a good roster on paper. I actually thought they could have beat West Virginia just on paper.
Yeah. Cole D says, could he ruin, talking about Perez, could he ruin the chemistry we have going? I think he's a score first guy. Just wondering if that's a potential issue in your eyes.
No.
Okay.
I think he knows his role on this team. I think Huggins and his staff made it clear on the recruiting, just the 1 week that they had to recruit him. I think they made it clear on what they need from him, and I think he's going to buy in just like the rest of the fifth-year seniors on that team.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul. Then I'll get to the comment.
You know, and the thing is we're so deficient in scoring at the guard spot anyway. Kedrian, with everything he does, is not a scorer. You know, he's good to make 1 out of every 7 or 8 threes he takes, even though he'll still take them and stuff. He usually scores off his defense. So I think obviously Jose will be a great change up to him. I imagine they'll probably have him playing at the 1 or the 2 spot, maybe the 3. So, you know, maybe they'll play him off the ball. I don't know. But at Manhattan, he was the point guard, correct?
Yeah, I think more so of like a combo guard who brings up the ball. But, yeah, he runs the offense.
Right. So, I don't know if that's, it's hard to say. But I would imagine he probably played better with Keedy on the floor than with Joe, but I'm not sure. That's what Bob gets paid the big bucks to figure out. But he'll figure out a lineup or two that are benefit from having Jose in the game, because we've got a couple that go in that really struggle to score. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I think personally they should have him in a 6-man role, kind of like what they have Joe and Mo doing right now. Bring another guy off the bench who can be just another 6-man to come off the bench, have energy, get a basket when needed. If they have Perez, Toussaint, and McGee coming off the bench, and they keep that same starting 5 they have right now, and everybody's meshing, this team could be really good.
Sorgy Story says, hey guys, let's go Mountaineers. I can't stick around, but I thought that I'd stop in. Being a Marquette fan first from Milwaukee, I want the Big East to do well, but this is WVU. Big win. Congratulations on that shellacking of Baylor, man. Big win there for Marquette, taking down the number 6 team in the country. And then Sorgy Story says, yes, we did, and we have a huge rivalry game versus Wisconsin next. So That'll be interesting. That should be a good game.
Yeah.
Excuse, I think they have the same exact shirt as you. LOL. When we moved to Philly, I got it. Yeah. Speaking of Philly, this is completely off topic. One of my bucket list things is to run the steps that Rocky ran in the Rocky movies. I will do that before I die. I told my wife, I said, I don't care if I'm 90 years old, I'm getting up them steps. I will go there one day. So,
Listen, I'm a Rocky fanatic. I love Rocky.
I do too. Hey, check this out. It's in my background, man. I got the Balboa and Apollo Creed Funkos.
It's wild.
I love that stuff, man. But anyway, so Sorgi, if I ever get to Philly, man, we're gonna have to hook up and grab a bite to eat or something.
Yeah.
But now let's move on and preview the Baylor game real quick. I mean Baylor, shoot. I had Baylor on my brain. Xavier game. Paul, I'll start with you, man. This game, first off, for those of you who don't know, that West Virginia plays is it Xavier or Xavier? I don't know. Anyway, they play
That's said both ways.
Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on FS1. It's part of the Big 12 Big East Challenge that every Big 12 team plays a Big East team basically that day at some point. But anyway, the game's played in Cincinnati, which is where Xavier is located. But anyway, Paul, start with you. What are your initial thoughts on this game and coming up against the Musketeers of Xavier?
Yeah, they're a good basketball team. You know, I'd say they're probably a fringe top 25 team just based off watching them. They're not a bad basketball team at all. They've hung in there with some of the better teams in the country. They've got some really good wins on their resume. They've got a couple losses. But, I mean, if you look at who those losses came against, you start to figure out why. They're big. They've got length. They've got a great tradition as a basketball school, obviously. Here lately, they've probably been the better Cincinnati area team, probably the last few years, which has not historically been the case, even though they've always had a great basketball school there, especially when Huggs was there at Cincinnati and stuff. They obviously weren't the best around those times. But, yeah, so they, once again, they've got a great team. They've got a guy, and forgive me, I haven't studied on all their names or anything yet. But they've got a guy in the post. I think his number 55 was a really good player, a white guy. I'm sure Ethan might have a little bit more about him than I do as far as names goes.
Are you talking about Jack Nunji?
Yes.
Yeah. Joe Toussaint actually played with him at Iowa. So
that's right.
I didn't know that. That's a good side story.
Yeah. He's sort of like a stretch five.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just more of a scorer. They have two guys like that. Zach Freemantle, both experienced bigs. It's going to be it's definitely going to be a challenge for the front court for West Virginia for sure.
Yeah, I'm pulling up their stats right now. Nunji is 45 shooting 45.5% from three. Now I don't know how many threes he's taken. So that may be a little bit misleading, but apparently he can stroke it. Then they got a lot of guys that can stroke it. I'm looking at their 3-point percentages here. 45.5, 52, 64, 50, 45, 35, and 40. Holy cow.
Now, to be fair, they don't take that many threes individually, but they're shooting it, they're making it. Like Colby Jones, for example, 9 of 14. And he's shooting 64% from three. He doesn't take many threes, but when he's open, he's open once, twice a game, he's going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's those are I mean, I don't care how many shots. I mean, obviously one shot's different, but if you're shooting multiple shots and you're shooting those kind of percentages, that's still good shooting. But yeah. They're actually playing right now, believe it or not. They're playing Southeastern Louisiana as we speak. They're up 28-6. with 7:43 to go in the first half. With Southeast Louisiana is a small school, so not that surprising. But they only lost by 4 to Gonzaga,
right?
And they only lost by 7 to Duke, and they beat Florida by 7. So,
right,
this is going to be a test.
That was what caught my eye was, and especially in college basketball, you can almost never go off of if you've got a common opponent and one of you beat it and one of you didn't. That almost never works out when you try to figure out whether or not you're better than them based off of that. But the fact that they only beat Florida by 7 was interesting to me, considering we just dog walked them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. If we blow Xavier out like we did Florida, I'll start to believe a little bit.
I think in general, I'll buy in. Xavier's a really tough place to win at. At least they've experienced a true road game this year playing at Pitt, even though Pitt's not that great at all. At least they
didn't know it then, though.
No. But at least they experienced a true road game early on. Unlike last year, where it took them pretty much till the end of non-conference to play a true road game, so they'll be all right.
Well, I'm a little bit. I mean, even the eye test tells me this is a much better team than last year. So I'm not saying that they're not. But last year, they were like 7-1 at one point in the season last year or something, right? And I'm thinking, okay, we got a pretty good team this year. And then they get into Big 12 play, and it all goes to hell in a handbasket. So I'm trying to be a little bit more slow to get on the bandwagon, I guess. But because I'm just a little bit gun shy, I guess is the best word for it, because I got burned last year. But deep down, I'm really excited based on what I saw the other night. But maybe every team has those games where they play, their A++ game, and maybe that happened, Sunday night. I don't know, or because I just don't see us shooting the ball that well, night in, night out.
I don't know, man. I think because historically we've been so bad, and then I watch this team and I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop without shooting, and it just hasn't yet. Outside the one game when we had guys sick.
Yeah,
I just wonder if maybe this team is a team that makes more shots than teams we've had before.
Yeah, I was going to point out, just to back off on Paul's comment. The only bad shooting night, and it wasn't even that bad. It was around 40%. Was against Purdue, and they're easily a top 5 defense in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting for it too. Maybe it happens one of these games that they can't rely on bad shooting for that night, since they turn it over already a bunch. But I mean, they keep shooting it well. I can't knock on them until they shoot poorly.
Yeah. I mean, my gosh, Eric Stevenson right now shooting almost 50% from 3. And he's taking several. I mean, it's not like he's not shooting them. He's shooting them, and he's making them. And I can't remember the last time we had a guy make threes like he's making them right now. I mean, it's Alex Ruoff, maybe. I mean, it's been a while.
I mean, even guys, you even have
Joe Airbear.
%.
I talked to Corey from Hawkeye the Storm, and I actually interviewed him on my show before we transferred me and Coos this into a basketball channel. But I had him on about Joe Toussaint. Coos has had him on about Joe Toussaint on his show separately as well. Corey does an amazing job covering the Hawkeyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at Toussaint's basketball tape in high school, and he was a scoring machine in New York. And Coos backed me up, man. I've been saying it before the season. I think he can score. And
you did.
And just because based off his tape, I said, man, it's just. And then I looked into Iowa, and they just didn't ask him to score, nor did they need him to. They had too many good players. And then I'm not surprised that he's scoring the ball at the clip that he is. What do you think? Was that something you saw coming, Ethan? Uh-oh.
Can you hear us, Ethan?
We lost him.
Hopefully he'll come back in. He must have had some technical difficulty.
Yeah.
There he is.
My bad, Paul. You cut out when you were talking.
Oh, it's okay. The question was, you know, I had asked the guy that covered the Hawkeyes about Toussaint before the year, and I had asked him, like, you know, is Toussaint a scorer? He said, well, he really hasn't been. When he wasn't sure if he could be or couldn't be. And I said, I think he is. And then he's turned into a pretty dang good little scorer. Did you see that coming? I mean, was it showing up in practice? What did you see?
I did see it coming, but not this much. Like I expected like 6 to 8 points a game off the bench. Just more so of a guy to run the offense with Keedy. His assist turnover ratio is like 2.3 something. So he rarely turned it over last year at Iowa. So that's mostly why he was brought in. I didn't expect him to average double figures through 7 games though.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I'll be honest with you. When Paul told me that, I'm thinking, man, this guy averages like 4 a game. He ain't gonna be a scorer. They brought him in to play defense.
Right.
My gosh, a couple games in, I'm like, this guy can score. Now he's not the best shooter in the world.
He can get to the rim though.
But man, he gets to the rim.
Yeah.
He is, and I've seen him make a couple guys break their ankles. I mean, he's so quick.
You think he'd be a good running back?
Really quick. He's got the body of a running back. Actually, it's a good point.
He's bouncy, shifty, left and right.
Yeah. But yeah, and when you got shooters like Stevenson out there, and you got even Emmett's making his shots, and you've got somebody like him that can take it to the rim and spread the deep. Oh man, I love it. I mean, I think this team. I don't know if Huggins did this on purpose. I assume he probably did because he's been doing this for over 40 years. He's not third winningest coach of all time for nothing. But I mean, it's like he's got everything. He's like he put all these different pieces together. You've got a guy that can drive it to the rim. You've got guys that can shoot it. You've got guys who can rebound. He's got it. He went out and found somebody that can do it all. You know, that can do everything. Where last year you really didn't have that. You had one guy that could really score consistently. You didn't really have anybody that could rebound consistently outside of Gabe. And Gabe was really the only one that guarded consistently. So, I mean, now he's got guys that can do all that, you know. And one guy who's like, Trey Mitchell's probably not the best defender out there. But man, he's awesome on the offensive end, and he more than makes up for it. And the guys behind him, Wiggy, Bell, they can all defend. So I just love the pieces, man, that he's put together. Like he built this team. He built this team with a purpose. That's all right. He built this team with a purpose. Go ahead, Paul.
I was just you got me thinking about Trey Mitchell there, and I was going to ask Ethan, do you know how healthy exactly he is? Because he looks to me like if he's running straight line, he's good, but laterally, it seems like he struggles to move laterally.
Yeah.
So I guess my question would be, do you know what kind of injury it was? And have you talked to him, or do you know whether or not, like on a percentage, how healthy he is?
Well, he had foot surgery mid-November, maybe the second week in November.
Okay.
Obviously, that's kind of why the first couple games of the year he only played 10, 15 minutes. Huggins has said he's trying to get him back in the game shape. I think he's close. I wouldn't say he's 100%. I wouldn't think anybody will say that Trey Mitchell's 100%, but he's close.
You got a prediction for Saturday, Ethan? Krista Sisson. Hope I didn't butcher your name, Krista.
I'm gonna go Xavier by 6.
Wow. Okay. You think Xavier wins this one?
Seriously, if West Virginia beats Xavier in Cincinnati with Sean Miller as their coach, with a NCAA tournament talent team, and then they win on the road in a pretty hostile environment, Xavier's hard to win at. Not many teams win there. If they go in and they beat Xavier by 1 or 30, it doesn't matter. I'll buy into this team and say that they're going to be a tournament team.
Awesome. What about you, Paul?
I think West Virginia wins, man. I really have a good feeling about it. I'll say West Virginia wins 79-73, 6-point win.
Okay. Well, the spread's not out yet. At least I haven't seen one. Which I don't think the spreads come out for basketball till like the day prior. But ESPN has Xavier as a 54% chance to win the game, so they're favored in the game. I hate to give one because I'll be honest, I haven't watched any Xavier games this year, but I'll just throw a number out. I'm going to say West Virginia wins by 2. It's going to be a close one. Bob Huggins probably absolutely despises Xavier, I would imagine, from his days at Cincy. He's probably going to tell Stevenson and these guys some of them stories and how bad he hates them. I mean, I'm almost picturing this in my head. They're in the locker room talking. He's telling them how bad he hates them, and they're like, "We're going to go beat them for you, coach." And I mean, and they will hate him, but the players will hate Xavier by the time they get to the game because he's going to tell them how bad that they were back in the Cincinnati days. And I mean, that's kind of what I'm conjuring up in my mind here. But I think West Virginia wins by 2, 83-81.
Sean Miller looks like the poster child for Frisch's big boy. That's how I feel.
Poster child for what?
Frisch's.
I don't even know what that is. I ain't gonna lie.
Big Boy?
Yeah.
You never seen Big Boy?
The rapper?
No, Frisch's Big Boy. He's got like the. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. You got me on that one, man.
It's coming directly to you in 1 second.
All right. I'm not up on my I don't know what it is. I don't know what I need to be up on.
Are you ready?
Should I play
All
Jeopardy
right.
music? I'm still waiting. Awkward silence.
Yeah, I know, right?
The rapper Cole D's laughing at me.
I don't even know if it'll let me.
Hey, by the way, while we're waiting on this, Cole, you made a comment on one of my Cousins Corner videos the other day that I was offended by, and I kind of got defensive about it. So please don't unsubscribe from me for it. He told me my intro was lame. Kind of pissed me off.
Oh, really?
Cole's hating.
Yeah, Cole was hating on me. And I was not in the best of moods that day. So it just really got under my skin. So forgive me, Cole. I didn't have thick skin that day, man. But it's all good.
Did we lose Paul?
He's coming back. He's trying to send me a picture of whatever that is.
It's like a guy in a fry cook uniform, and he's like Frisch's like mascot basically.
I don't even know what Frisch's is. So
I think I could be wrong, but I think it's in the Midwest. It's just like a little diner place.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I'm a Southern West Virginia hillbilly. I don't know what that is.
Am I back?
I do. Yeah, you're back. I do get out once in a while though. So, but I haven't.
All right, here it is.
Oh, I know. Okay, I have seen that. Yep. Okay, I've seen that. I know what you're talking about now.
That's Sean Miller.
Yeah, I'm not.
It is Sean Miller.
I'm not going to unsee that now.
Didn't he used to be at Arizona? That's the same guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He switched
And
through.
Archie Miller is his brother. They look just exactly the same.
Shoney's Restaurant is what Big Aaron said.
Love Shoney's.
I don't know what that. Are they the same? Is that the same place or something?
No, Shoney's. You never rated at Shoney's?
I have.
Oh man,
I have one up the street.
Oh.
I just don't know what Big Aaron what it has to do with our conversation. Big Aaron confused me here.
Yeah, no idea. Let's just start throwing stuff out.
Hey, I don't care. I'll talk about anything, man.
I'll just type something random in the chat. Sleeveless shirts.
Cole said he had a case of the Mondays too. Yeah, it's all good, man. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be honest. I don't always have the thickest skin in the world. Sometimes doing this has made me develop one a little bit, but there are days where things just rub me the wrong way. So
You can't ever read people online. You can't ever.
I know. I don't ever know if somebody's being a prick or if they're just messing with me. You know, I can't tell.
Yeah.
Unless they throw an emoji or something in there where I can
Give it some context.
Yeah. Big boy is northern like Eaton Park. Now, I've heard of Eaton Park. I've never eaten there, but I have seen them.
We've got one right here in right where 5 minutes from where I live in Ironton, Ohio, which is 10 minutes from Huntington.
I know exactly where Ironton, Ohio is, man. I've been to Ironton a couple times for work.
We've got a Frisch's.
And I'll probably be going through there again here in a few months.
Well, if you do, we need to meet up. That's where I live.
There's a big rock music festival my wife and I go to in Columbus.
Go hit up the Frisch's.
I'm going to have to now.
What's crazy is that Frisch's here won there's like 250 or 300 Frisch's, and that one they've got a big plaque out. So they just won. It was on the radio and everything. They won the #1 Frisch's in the world.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shoney's Breakfast Bar in Flatwoods.
Flatwoods. Kentucky is what he's talking about.
The center point of the state. Literally. Flatwoods, West Virginia is the geographic center of West Virginia.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Kentucky.
No,
Flatwoods. There's a Flatwoods 5 minutes from me.
I assumed he was talking about West Virginia, but
Bo Stacker, are you talking about Flatwoods, Kentucky, or West Virginia?
I've never had Shoney's.
You never had Shoney's?
I've never even heard of Shoney's.
Do you like buffets?
It's like a Ponderosa.
Okay, all right.
If you like buffets, especially their breakfast. Breakfast is better. I'm not crazy about their dinners, but they have really good breakfast buffet at Shoney's.
Yeah, I like the macaroni and cheese. All-time favorite macaroni and cheese.
I'll have to give it a try then.
First Shoney's Drive-In was opened in Charleston, West Virginia. 5 years later, the name was changed to Big Boy Restaurants, only to be renamed 3 years later to what is now known as Shoney's. I didn't know that.
Well, somebody else must have took Big Boy's name because they're still opening them unless they're just two of the same.
It could be. It's probably like Hardee's and Carl's Jr., where they have two different names, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you, Big Aaron. I learned something today.
And I don't learn something every day.
See, when you're on YouTube, you never know what you might learn, man. Big Aaron says, "Did you get Metallica tickets today? Can't wait to see Metallica and Pantera on the same stage." Are you serious? Pantera? Wow. I didn't know they were back together.
That's wild.
I did not, Big Aaron. I'm gonna have to check into that, man.
Are you going to buy a big wig, a big wig, and put a beard on and grow a pot belly out like Dimebag? Do your best Dimebag Daryl impersonation.
No, I won't do that. I might do. I have put the wig on before. I actually dressed up like a rocker for Halloween a couple times and had the wig and the tight pants, the whole bit.
The rockers? No way.
Yeah.
Who were you, Marty Jannetty or Shawn Michaels?
A rock star, a rocker, like
oh,
like hairband guy.
Oh, Lord. I thought you were talking about the rockers.
I'll have to send you guys. I ain't sending a picture of everybody on this chat now, but I'll send these two guys a picture.
Are you a big Metallica fan?
I like Metallica. They're not, I mean, I wouldn't say a fan. I've seen them live once.
Yeah.
I'm a rock music fan. Metallica's probably not my favorite band, but I like the Black Album. I like some of their older stuff. I'm not real crazy about their newer stuff, but they're legends.
What do you like, Ethan?
I mean, I'm more of like probably like mid 2000s, like just anything like 2000s, 2010s, like kind of in the current rap too. But I'll also listen to like Metallica or like I'm kind of into Nirvana, like just kind of the old bands just pop up on Apple.
Grunge metal.
Yeah. Just if it pops up, like
that's
where
I'm at too, man. I like Tool, Deftones, Rage Against the Machine, Radiohead, and kind of dudes.
Honestly, I like most things just except country music. I can't get into country music all the time. Like I can't. I'm
a Hank Williams Jr. guy.
I can't. has to be the right. If it's during the summer and you're on if you're on vacation or if you're out doing so, I feel like country music it fits. But if
it hits different, huh?
You're in a winter and it's snowing, I can't listen to country music. It's not the same.
Right.
Only country music I like is basically I like Morgan Wallen, I like Luke Combs, I like Florida Georgia Line, a little bit of Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, but that's
Didn't
pretty
you
much
tell
it.
me you didn't like Tyler Childers?
Not really,
That blows me away.
but I mean I'll have to go back and. I also didn't think I liked Zach Bryan, but then I heard one of his songs the other day, and I kept playing it, and I'm like, I like this song. So sometimes
I'll send you a couple songs that I really like by him.
Sometimes stuff grows on me, man, and I may not like it at first, but once I hear it a time or two, I'm like, I can dig this.
You just have to keep listening to music. You're not gonna like or hate a song off of the first.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you heard the song "Nose on the Grindstone" by Tyler Childers? Tyler Childers.
It doesn't ring a bell, but I'm not good at remembering names, song titles. So, Cole D wants to go to an Outkast concert with you, Ethan. Big boy.
What?
Hey, I mean, I only know like the mainstream Outkast songs. I'm too young to know like all of their underground.
Right. You got to know Miss Jackson, right?
Yeah, I know Miss Jackson. Oh, hey, yeah. That's like those two.
Yeah, I got
That's
you.
about it. But at least I know who Outkast is.
Hey, Coos. Hey, Paul. Hey, who is this? I don't know. It's Ethan Bock from West Virginia Sports Now. Kenny, I know that's
Mike
Kenny.
Ostie Jr.
Yeah.
There you go.
Me and Ostie just banging out all the content we can get.
There you go, man. There you go. Metallica M72 World Tour. Different bands are on different dates. They are doing 2 shows for each city and a different set for each show. Huh. Cool. I want to check into that. My wife and I used to go to a festival in Columbus called Rock on the Range. It has now changed its name to Sonic Temple Arts and Music Festival. We went 5 years in a row. We didn't go in 2018 or 2019 because we didn't like the bands. And then they canceled it in 2020 because of COVID, and they haven't had it since. So this year they're bringing it back in 23. They've upped it to a 4-day event instead of a 3-day event. I think we're gonna hit it full force this year.
My buddy's trying to get me to go to see the Juggalos up in Columbus.
The Insane Clown Posse?
Yeah, you know, the Rise of the Juggalos or whatever they call it.
Yeah. I used to listen to them, believe it or not. I can't stand it now, but when I was in high school, I liked it.
It just seems like that could be a troublesome environment for me to go into.
Yeah, I would not recommend it, Paul.
Yeah.
Would not recommend it, brother.
So,
matter of fact, if I were you, I would probably not go to any of it.
Just gonna not go.
Yeah.
Just gonna not go.
Stay
Although I can't lie, I love chicks that are goth, like soft spot for me. But yeah, I can find those at my local Walmart.
I hear you. Cole D says he's going to unfollow because of the music taste. He must be a rap guy since he brought up Outkast. I don't mind. I like some rap. I actually went to, well, this ain't really rap, but I did go see with my family. I went and saw Post Malone a few weeks ago.
Most kids would consider him in that genre.
Yeah, I'd say he's like in the combination of rap and I wouldn't say
that
pop.
singing. It's like that sing rap.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you'd call it anymore. It's kind of new.
I didn't even want to go. I wanted to go, and then as it got closer, I'm like, man, I didn't really want to go. I wish I hadn't got a ticket. And we get there, and I actually enjoyed myself. He puts on a good show.
Yeah.
Very entertaining guy. Very strange, but very entertaining.
Right.
Big Aaron wants to know, what does the WV basketball team listen to?
Definitely rap, probably. I would say kind of like the rap singing genre that we don't know the name for now.
Yeah.
and then definitely
I
rap.
got you.
I don't know what you would call the rap singing genre because it used to just be rap and pop. But
Who were some of the artists other than Post Malone that we mentioned earlier? Name another one.
Like the rap singing genre?
Yeah.
Definitely Drake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Some of the more common,
Yeah.
popular. I got you. Yeah.
I would even throw Kanye West in there now. Like just
Really?
Yeah. Or like maybe
Lil
Future.
Future. Yeah. Yeah, guys are singing more than ever in the rap scene.
Cole D says Lil Baby.
Yeah. Travis Scott.
Lil Baby. Yeah.
Oh, Stagger says he's a metalhead for life.
Yeah.
Cole says he's seen Tom Petty twice. Never saw Tom Petty.
I'll never get to now, will you?
Nope.
It's okay. We can always watch what's that movie he did with Tom the Mailman or Waterworld. He did Waterworld, didn't he?
I don't remember. Did he? Was he in Waterworld? Well, that's been years
The
ago.
one with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I guess it was Yeah, I guess he was in that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I was a little kid when that movie came out.
Yeah.
Or maybe a young teenager. I can't remember the year, but it's a long time ago. So,
you were young. It was early 90s.
Yeah, I was a little pipsqueak. Now I'm just an old pipsqueak.
That was back when I was really growing up in rural West Virginia.
Rural.
Yeah. And
rural. How you say that word?
Yeah. Rural. I think on that note, it's probably about time we jump off here.
I was getting ready to say, yeah, we were getting way off track.
Trying to pronounce rural. I'm saying that
it's Royal, West Virginia. That's it.
Yeah, I'm starving.
Here, we're kings here. All right, listen, Ethan, thanks for hopping on with us, man. Had a blast talking basketball, music, everything else. That's the cool thing about live streams. You never know where they're going to go.
Yeah, you can take it in any direction.
You let the audience lead you, and somebody asked about Metallica, and there we go. Talked about Rocky, Metallica, Waterworld.
Sean Miller looking like Frisch's big boy.
Yeah, I learned what Frisch's big boy is now. So now if it ever comes up on Jeopardy, I'll know the answer. All right, guys, once again, please go check Ethan out at West Virginia Sports Now. He's always posting on Twitter at Ethan Bock _. He and his colleague Mike Oste cover everything West Virginia football and basketball. Go check Paul out at Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. And check him out on Twitter as well at Paul Mountaineer. And then obviously I'm at Couz's Corner. And at Couz206 on Twitter. And in here, subscribe to this channel, please, if you haven't. We're trying to get our numbers up so we can get more of this Mountaineer Hoops content out to the world. So anyway, guys, Ethan, thanks again.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, man. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
All right, guys.
Thank you, everybody in the chat room. Have a good night.